With that, we'll get into chapter 41, Arrival.
We open up with some pretty big news. So we do find out that Second Ascension did create the plague. The Autarch is their leader, and Theasin is connected and working closely with them. Adelgis obviously is pretty conflicted about what to do with the info. It is his dad, and he is concerned about how he's going to handle it. Adelgis is pretty conflicted about what to do with the info. Volke ends up waking up next to Karna. Karna answers his earlier question about a trial of worth, and she told the mother of shapeshifters that she was most afraid of being alone. So we kind of get this two paths. If you're talking with the mother of shapeshifters for the trial of worth, you can either get a mimic by not being afraid of anything, or a doppelganger by being most afraid of being alone. Moss also gave some pretty important information. She said that she would reach true form once she fully understands human nature. So a difficult and pretty vague task, but at least she knows what she's working towards. Volke does comment that she plays the villains better. She's better as Calisto, as Theasin, even playing as our Master Arcanist, Jewel. So she's a lot more comfortable in that villain role. Volke does want to go to see Calisto. He wants to talk to him, essentially find out what he knows. Calisto, working with Theasin and the Second Ascension in some regards, but trying to figure out how involved he really is. Calisto is happily spouting his nightmare boots, nice and shiny.
Freaking A, Jose.
I know. And we do find out that part of the contract with Calisto was that he wasn't supposed to engage Volke in conversation, but he is willing to exchange information for a price. So as long as Volke starts the conversation, he's willing to trade some information back and forth. And very specifically, he wants to know about Illia. We find out that he really needed her eye to get Helion's true form.
When Volke said Illia's name, just as like, don't ever talk about her. And Callisto's like, oh, her name's Illia. Like, dang it. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it kind of depends on the situation, how you look at it. Volke does draw retribution, and he loses his shit. Luther ends up merging with Volke, though, to kind of get him to calm down and talk to him in a calming manner. Again, not sure if this is the plague that's drawing the tension with Volke, but I think this is probably would have been a very normal reaction for Volke, whether the plague was there or not for him. Luther got Volke to basically walk away and be the beggar man and all that good stuff, because obviously Volke's not going to give up any information about Illia other than her name, apparently. So he starts to walk away, and this is one of those like chef kiss moments of Shammy. She doesn't do the cliche like, oh, you know. Calisto yells after Volke and like, this is where you get mad and try to avenge your friend and tell me I'll never hurt Illia again and go to strike me, and that's what you're gonna do.
He breaks the cliche.
And like, I know Volke wanted to do it so badly, but dang it, he doesn't.
After this pretty heated conversation, luckily they do end up landing at the site, so no more traveling on Callisto's ship.
Maybe it's just them being on the ship too long with each other, you know?
Stuck in the same confined spaces.
I mean, Volke was used to all this freedom with in Colosseum, where he got to walk around after dark, do his own thing, you know? And next week we are going to be doing our last section of Plague Arcanist. We're doing 46 through 50. And then after that, we will have the episode of the tabletop game that Zerza, or his name is Chad, sits down and talks with us about his tabletop game for the Frith Chronicles and his ideas on that, Shammy's thoughts on it. In, I believe, a week or two from the airing of this episode in particular, time marked Warlock will be released for audiobook and in the actual book itself. If you are an ARC member or if you order directly from Shammy, she has some absolutely amazing looking metal bookmarks that she will send to you, along with her really, really cool pillar quote boxes. So there's that. And if you want to check out her other works, she's got plenty of other things along with the Frith Chronicles, not even just within the series of this one, but the Nexus games, Half-Life, Empire, Star Mark, pretty much any genre you want as far as fantasy goes. She does kind of write a little bit of.
Eric, Scott, and I want to thank everyone for listening today. We post a new episode every Wednesday morning at 11 Eastern, 10 Central, and 8 Pacific Standard Time. We are on all podcasting platforms and are also on YouTube as well for video. After the additional episode airs, we post chapter-by-chapter videos every day in a smaller, easier-to-digest format. We do want to give a special shout-out to the final member of our team, Dan Mackison, one of the admins for the Frith Chronicles Wiki, link listed below, and doing his best to keep everything running smoothly behind the scenes. If you want to reach out to us, you can email us at frithguildpod@gmail.com or on Facebook or any other social media by searching for Frith Guild Podcast. Just to remind everybody, we have links to everything in the description below on both the podcast and YouTube. Scott, do you have anything else you want to add this week?
It's very close to finishing the 4th book. It's crazy how fast it goes through.
Oh my goodness, and we would be halfway through the series at the end of this one. So we're coming up on 8 months of recording.
Jeez.
And we're about halfway through the series. So we do appreciate everybody for listening on, and we look forward to hearing from you next week. Thank you. Welcome back to the Frith Guild Podcast. I'm your host, Eric. And today we'll be going over chapters 41 through... That was rude.